welcome Rowena.
Can you hear the music? When you've got the music inside you, you can hear it. You can dance to it, you can sing to it, yes. I'm looking around tonight and I'm a unicorn. I think if there's another unicorn here, please come and introduce yourself. It's a mythical creature, and when you find one, you should capture it and study it. My epic moment in my life was when I was 13 years of age. I was fat, I had pimples on my face, I had buck teeth, and my whole school hated me. And I know that because the two most glorious girls in the school sent a survey around my school. They hated this fat chick for some reason and said, if you like Rowie, tick yes, and if you don't like Rowie, tick no, and they all ticked, we don't like Rowie. I went home and figured that those popular girls were really unhappy. And I wasn't going to live my life like that. I wasn't going to be an unhappy person. So I decided I'd become a powerful, passionate, positive person when I was 13. How about you? And I'm looking around tonight because I believe in a group of entrepreneurs, there should be more passion in this room than the rest of Australia. Would that be fair? And I think the reason that we don't have that kind of passion and enthusiasm is because we're doing shit we don't like to do. So this powerful, passionate, positive girl went back to school the next day, looked those two other girls in the eye and said, thank you very much, I am now a powerful, passionate, positive person. Woo! A couple of weeks later, these people came to my school, and I'm looking around who would remember this time. It was 1980. And these people came to my private boarding school in Melbourne, where my father had sent me, by the way, to become a lawyer for all the lawyers in the room. And we did indoor exercise that day because it was raining, and we did some of this stuff to 80s music. It was 1980. Woo! I peed my pants. I was still a fat girl. I still had pimples and I still had buck teeth, but I fell in love with the thought that I could get paid to do exercise. So I went to my school principal and I said, Mr. Bartlett, how much are you paying those people to teach us group exercise? He said, $30. Why do you ask? I said, I'll do it for $25. I had a small challenge, but all of you in this room have had small and large and enormous challenges, yes or no? Well, I just had two small ones. Number one, I had no clue how to teach exercise to music, and the whole school hated me. So I had to stand up in front of 450 people and teach group exercise because my school principal gave me the opportunity to do that. Now, I'm sharing that with you because I decided at 13 that that was going to be my life. No support from my family, no support from anybody because I was supposed to be a lawyer. So I ran away from home, wouldn't you? I was 14 and 9 months. I got on a Spirit of Progress train from Melbourne to Sydney, and I moved to this amazing suburb in Sydney called Campbelltown. High socio-economic area, delightful suburb. And I started teaching group exercise. My passion was for little girls who had buck teeth and pimples and felt unloved and uncomfortable to feel as good as I did when I taught exercise. So I went to a gym in Campbelltown and I said, please, can you give me a job? And they said, we want somebody over 30 with experience. I said, well, here I am. The reason I'm sharing this with you is if you're doing something right now that you're not absolutely bloody passionate about, I've got to ask why you're doing it. And the reason I ask that question is because most of my days now I spend in primary schools and high schools with children, our future leaders of the world. And I'm asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do with your life? What are you the most passionate about? And primary school kids, they say, I want to be a rock star. I want to be a movie star. I want to be a rocket scientist. By the time they get to year 10, guess what they're saying? Oh, well, it would depend on what mark I get. My careers officer told me that perhaps I could get a job in the bank. I'm asking you, please, to do what you're the most passionate about, and I call it your sweet spot. If you do what you're the most passionate about, if you want to be the best in the world at it, which means you'll do the training and the education and the learning and make the mistakes and love the mistakes, and if you want to add massive value to people's life, your business will work. Do you know how many people said to me, Rowie, you've got blonde hair, you can't be successful in business. Rowie, you're a woman, you can't be successful in business. Rowie, you're from Campbelltown, you can't be successful in business. And most of all, Rowie, you don't have a tertiary education. I don't even have year 10. I didn't attend enough school in year 10 to finish. So the BRW rich list gives me a ring and says, you're on the rich list. One of the richest people in Australia under the age of 40. I went, wow, how much am I worth? Now, if you're doing it for the money, go work in the bank. Business shouldn't be about money, and business should never be about anything else except adding massive value to people's lives. If you make great sauce, it will add massive value to people's lives because it's yummy. Yes or no? But that should be the reason that you make it. If you were told that you can't because you're too tall, too short, too fat, too skinny, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough experience, please let me share with you, I have that story. So I'm not sure why my slides are sharing with you my life story over and over. I've got absolutely no clue. But you're probably wondering what all of this stuff means. Like what is that all about, and what's that all about, and who the hell is that? I'm going to stay with this one for a minute. How many of you have ever heard this? Because tonight we've heard I did have the support of my family and I didn't have the support of my family. Oh, that's great. That's much better. Thank you. If you have the support of your family in your business, can you please go home to them tonight and say, I love you very much and thank you for supporting me. Please never forget to tell them that. I didn't, and I never have. And if you would dare let somebody steal your dream because they're your family or your friend, what kind of friend would stop you from achieving your dream? They're not a good friend. What I learned is that you should become your own best friend. Be the person that you trust the most, that you like the most, that you would do business with. So here's what happened. I started managing health clubs. First of all, I started teaching group exercise, then I started managing health clubs, and I managed health clubs around the world. And I never, ever asked for any money. So technically, I've snuck in tonight as I'm a bit of a, because I'm certainly not an entrepreneur, I'm an intrapreneur. I go into other people's businesses and make them better. And I'm going to give you 3 really classic examples. I was 10 years of age in Melbourne. A lady from my church said, would you like to come to the markets and I'll pay you $10 a day to sell planter pots? And I said, sure. $10 is a lot of money when you're 10 years of age, especially back then. I'm well over 50 now. And we were at the markets for about 15 minutes, just setting up. And I said, Wendy, this is going to be a no-brainer. I'll stay here and sell pots here. You go to the Caribbean markets, which is 10 minutes down the road. You sell pots all day for you, and you just pay me 20% of what I sell here. I was 10 years of age. I didn't start the business, but I was earning $200, $300, $400 on a Sunday instead of 10 because I backed myself. I don't know why. I went to the gym and said, I don't want you to pay me any money. I just want you to give me $1 extra for every person that I bring to my group exercise classes. The first class I taught, there was 3 people, and that was the average of the class, so I earned no money. I want to share with you my favourite story ever, though. I learnt people's names. Those of you that go to the gym right now, does your instructor know your name? Do they know your goals? Do they know why you're even at the gym? I learnt people's names. I learnt what their pets' names were, what their favourite drink was, what their favourite fruit was, and what their favourite music was. Now, there was no Spotify and there was no music to download back then. But the 3 people that came to my class, I asked them what their favourite music was, and one guy's was Engelbert Humperdinck. I bought the album. I couldn't even buy a single. But when he came back to my class next week, guess what was playing? I had to record it from an album to a tape deck and played it for my mate who loved Engelbert Humperdinck. So, what are you doing in your business to make people feel really special? My class went from 3 people to 30 people to 150 people, and I was getting $1 extra per class. Now, I don't know if you know anything about the fitness industry right now, but if you're a really, really good group exercise instructor, you might earn $100. Well, I was doing that in the 80s. Do you know, people say to me, how can you be so successful? You're so lucky. You know when they say work your ass off? You're not working your ass off. You're doing what you're the most passionate about, and you're doing it because you love it. Here's my challenge for you tonight, please. I was a 13-year-old girl with pimples on my face and buck teeth, and I wanted to be successful by the time I was 50. I set the goal that I would have millions of dollars, I would travel the world, I would have great relationships, I'd give millions of dollars to charity, and I'd love my life. And I was 13. So I did some research on people that were over 50. You must be really happy you're over 50. You must be in great shape. You must have a great relationship. You must have a career that you love. Here was the answer. Not too bad. Wish it was Friday. I'm a bit fat. My boss is an ass. So's my husband. Our kids do not listen to what we say. Have you noticed? They watch what we do. I'm asking you that when a 13-year-old little girl comes to you and says, is it possible to have a career that you love, to have a fantastic business, to be healthy, fit and strong, to live a life that you are really excited about getting up for, the only answer that I would like every adult to be able to give every child is hell yes. So if you're here tonight because you're an entrepreneur, you're excited about your business, and you want to add massive value to the world, it will work. There's no doubt about that. Look at me, I'm from Campbelltown. That's the girl from Campbelltown. And they say it like this in Sydney, Campbelltown. I don't have a tertiary education. And Peter Stefanovic rang me from from Channel 9, and said, you're on the BIW Young Rich list. And I said, that's fantastic. But that's not what I do this for. And that's the question that I'm asking you. What do you do this for? When you wake up tomorrow morning, if you're doing it for the money, be aware it's going to be stressful and it's going to be hassles and it's going to be a pain in your ass. When you're doing it because you love it, every one of those hassles helps you grow and makes you stronger and makes you better, and you just love it. Please be that person for our kids. And if you don't have the support of your family, please don't use that as an excuse. If people tell you that you can't do it, don't listen. And I will finish this with this very controversial quote. Do not be a can't. I'm sick of can'ts. Our kids get told every day, you can't do it. And I want them to hear from us that they can. You can have a business that you are really passionate about. Let's go show them. Thanks for having me this evening.